What's going on? Wait a minute. Hey, everybody. All right. It says that there are people who are inside the live broadcast, and I've just come on live. All right. So listen. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. You know what? I should get my from Lagos, Nigeria. So right. So listen. I'm in my Airbnb right now, and my Airbnb is dope. Listen, I was going to film so many times today. Look at the way your girl is looking. I look like a pimp pastor from the south talking about come on up and get saved. Yeah, so I was going to film when I was in Cairo at the airport, but you know what? Oh my gracious. This man on the balcony perpendicular to mine. Welcome to Nigeria, boys and girls. Many times today, but let me tell you, the energy of West African people is very different than any other people I've ever seen or met. It's kind of like the Caribbean to the 10th power. So you know how in the Caribbean, if you don't hold your space, people will encroach upon your space. So when it was time to get to when we were in the airport, right? When we went in the airport, so first of all, the airport is a whole different situation. We need to come up with one universal language that everybody all over the world learns as their secondary language, because it's stupid. I get to the airport and I'm trying to get inside the airport, and the guy is like, whoa, and they're like, and um, I don't understand. I don't understand. And he's like, and I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. And he's like tapping on my passport and pointing somewhere else. And I'm like, I don't understand, right? And then he's like telling the next person to come. And I'm like, where am I supposed to go, right? And he's like, hold on, hold on. And I was like, oh my goodness. And he was like, go office there. And I was, it's really not my fault that he works at a damn international airport and doesn't speak English. And Kat is saying Americans complaining about the whole world not speaking English. Oh, so funny. Would you complain about being blocked? Listen, I didn't say that people had to speak English. I'm saying that we as humans on this globe, we need to have one universal language that everybody speaks. I'm not even talking about English. I don't think it should be English. I think it should be a conglomerate of all of our languages so that everybody can feel respected. So nonetheless, right? Okay. So LaRon is saying that in Texas, everyone speaks Spanish in the stores and some can't even speak English. And he's like, how can you serve? But nonetheless, so let's go forward. When we get towards the gate, so now it's much different because they don't have TSA situation like they do in the United States. So you come in, you do like a preliminary little run your bags through, and that's it. Then you just keep walking and walking. You're inside the airport. You're seeing duty-free shops and all this other stuff. But there's no TSA talking about take your shoes off, take your laptop out, none of that. So I'm like, we're going to get to the plane and not even go through security? Hey, Miss Pinky. All right. Then when you get to the gate, there's no gate agents there. There's no gate agent. There's nobody there to do nothing. But there is a security check, but nobody can get in so you know where they have the conveyor belts where you walk and all of that, and they have the different gates where you fly out of. So that's where we were. So I was like, the situation was so different that I couldn't even film. I was going to film, but there was just a lot of people crowded around. And then when they got closer to the time to open up the second checkpoint, people started getting very aggressive. because it's, I don't know what was the reason, right? But they didn't have a female guard. Listen, they didn't have a female guard to check the women, so they couldn't let any women inside. Because you know, in Muslim countries, men can't touch women and all this other stuff. But they didn't have a female guard to be able to do the checks on the women, right? So I was like, okay. So then the guy's like, I'm going to get a female guard. Don't worry, right? Then a lady comes out and she's like, oh, only men can come through. And the men are like, it's supposed to be ladies first, but now we go first. And they were like, and then they started like pushing us out the way. And we're like, what's going on here? So I started noticing some things about West African men that is very different than American men. I'm gonna tell you that much right now, right? Listen, I did not film in the airport, Kat. I did not, because the situation was so aggressive in the airport that I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna film in the airport. However, so then when it's time to start going inside in the gate, right? So the other girls that I was traveling with, they're from the East Coast. So they was like, what's going on? What's going on? How come then nobody should be going through because we were here first, and why are you letting these men through? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what happened, but then I just felt a bum rush, right? I just felt a bum rush. Everybody just started pushing, and then she was letting women through. So then there was some man who was trying to push his way through, and I was like, excuse me. You know, I had to give him the New York elbow to wedge myself around him, right? So then finally we get to the second checkpoint, which is right, you know, the 2 hours that you spend waiting at your gate? There's no agent there to do any ticketing services for you, nothing. It's when they opened up these glass doors that then you were able to get through and do all that other stuff. So anyway, so we land in Lagos, right? And I didn't get my vaccine. And the woman at the you know where you're getting ready to leave and they check your passport? These women tried to run a scam on me, boys and girls. They tried to get your girl to bribe them. And I was like, excuse me? So look at how they did it. Look at how they did it. Let me tell you how they did it, right? So they was like, where's your yellow? They did it. Let me tell you how they did it, right? So they was like, where's your yellow fever vaccine paperwork? And I was like, I don't have it. Well, first the lady asked me, what are you doing here, right? And I was like, I came to do some filming for tourism, right? And then she was like, oh, where's your yellow fever? This, that, and the other. And I was like, I didn't do it. And she was like, oh, well, let me get my supervisor. So then she switched places with the lady who was next to her. And then she came over and was like, you have boyfriend here? You have boyfriend here? And I was like, yes. Right? I'm just saying yes because I'm like, why is she asking me whether I got a damn boyfriend here? So then I'm like, yes. And then, now mind you, I had to get up at 4 something in the morning in order to make this commute. When I was in Egypt, the Uber driver popped the trunk open for me, didn't try to help me with any baggage. And it's like, you know, it's really interesting how you're in these countries where there's male rule, but women are not treated with kid gloves. You know, like in America, a man will jump to help you with your luggage. On the plane, my bag fell and hit me in the head, and the men around were like, it was so strange. It was really strange. Even at the baggage claim, women were struggling with big, heavy bags, and they're the only man who tried to help a woman with her bag was a Caucasian man he had like a burgundy passport. I don't know where burgundy passports are from, but he had like a burgundy passport, and he was the only one who tried to help a woman. Well, there were two. One was an old man and he was struggling, and then it was the Caucasian man, and his damn Caucasian ass was struggling too. I had to help them both. I don't know what the hell. So nonetheless, And I was like, yes, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, maybe if she thinks I have a boyfriend who is aware of the customs here, that she won't try to hit me up. Then she's like, oh, you're gonna have to go to the office. The supervisor's gonna come and get you. They might send you back. And she's like, what can you do? But I can see what I can do. What can you do for me? And she's like tapping on my passport. She's like tap, 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 tapping on my passport. Give me a little gift. Put it inside here, right? And I'm like, a gift, right? So I'm like, what is your name? And she's like, for what you want to know my name? For what you want to know my name? And I'm like, because I want to know the name of the person who is asking me for a gift, right? And she's like, oh, you'll find out my name in the office. I'm like, so come, let us go. Let us go to the office, right? And she's like, oh, they're gonna come, they're gonna get you, they might send you back, right? And I'm like, well, let's see. I'm like, you know why I'm here. She's like, I thought you said you had boyfriend here. You coming to see boyfriend. I'm like, no. She's like, I thought you said you had boyfriend here. You coming to see boyfriend. I'm like, no, I told her why I was here. And I'm sure you heard me tell her why I was here, right? And I was like, and I didn't, and I just stood, and I just stood there, and she was like, oh, she was like, and then the other woman comes back over, and she's like, what's the matter, dear? Your face, you don't look happy. You don't look happy. And because I'm like, look, you said the supervisor's gonna come. Let the supervisor come and let's work this out. Tell the supervisor to come. And she's like, then the other woman come back. So they're switching back and forth, right? And she's like, then the other woman come back. So they're switching back and forth, right? And so she's like, fingering through my passport, and she's like, she's looking to see where I was born, right? Because they show on your passport where you're born. So she's like, oh, you're Nigerian. I'm like, I could be. And she's like, oh, that's all you have to say is you're Nigerian. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Just come through, right? And I was like, thank you. And then as soon as I said thank you, the lights went out. Listen. Oh, I kid you not. I kid you not. The lights went out. At the airport. It was pitch black. And I'm like, welcome to Nigeria. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So nonetheless, so I go out and I get ready to go out through, where you have to go through customs and all this other stuff, right? And I'm not going to say it's pandemonium, but there's a lot of people like trying to skip in front of you. It's like lines don't mean nothing. The people trying to skip in front of you and stuff like that. But look, I'm from New York. And so I'm like, excuse me, you know how to angle yourself so that you make a 45-degree wedge between you and other people. You like you gotta wedge yourself in, right? So that's how it was. And my cousin just came back from here. She was like, it smells like the people smell really badly, right? And there are some people with some I'll say pungent aromas. There are people with pungent aromas, but I actually prefer to be around people who don't wear deodorant, because you really get to know a person. You get to know all about them when you smell them in their natural essence. You get to smell a human being. Like me, I haven't worn deodorant since I was in college, right? And I've met many of you. I don't have a stench because my diet is pretty clean. Like if I ate like when I used to eat animal products, right? Like I would like whenever I would eat like a lot of chicken, I would like the smell from under my arm would begin to seep out, and even I would be like, I have to shower a lot. But listen, let me tell you, when people don't wear deodorant, you get to know their lifestyle. You get to know what their diet is like. You get to know where they are hormonally in the cycle, the monthly cycle. You get to really know a person. So I enjoyed being among people who didn't have on deodorant, because a lot of you are faking the funk. You know what I'm saying? And I say that with pun intended. Many of you out there are pretending to live a life that you really don't live. You putting on all this makeup to cover up your blemishes. You're putting on all these damn um what do you call this, aluminum oxide deodorants to hide your natural aroma, to hide the fact that you got a dirty diet, so it's like, let's just let it be free. Let's see what your pussy smell like. Let's see what your underarms smell like. Let's see what your ass crack is smelling like. Are you wiping well? You know what I'm saying? So I enjoy being around people. I enjoyed it because you know who to steer this way towards, or who to steer that way towards, or who to steer that way towards. You know what I'm saying? And so the person who was like checking my paperwork, like you, and it was like the whiff. You're like, it punched me back. And I was like, oh, I know to turn this way. Because I went to the counter. I was like, how are you doing? Woo! And I was like, oh, oh. I was like, yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. And I just turned, went the way that I needed to go, right? So then you get ready to start leaving the airport, and people are like, "Oh, miss, where you going? Where you going?" Right? Now, anybody who's ever traveled internationally, it's like this at all international places, because people are trying to get tips for handling your bags, etc. So when I travel like this, I make sure that I have a backpack so that my luggage is on my back, and I make sure that I put a rain cover on my backpack so that there's nobody behind me squeezing things off of my backpack and stuff like that. So you leave and people are like, "Oh, miss, where you going? Where you going?" And if you just go, no, or you have a real serious look, they'll leave you alone. So then we got to the conveyor belt, right? But what you do is you look for people who have official ID, who work at the airport, to be able to direct you and guide you so that you know where it is that you're going. And far as saying you have lost it if you want to smell those parts of people that hard. Listen, it's not that I want to, it's that I want to know who it is that I'm dealing with. Because Farah, if you don't have on deodorant, listen, people will know exactly who it is that you are, how you're living, how much water you're drinking or not drinking, what type of food you're eating. If your ass is smelling or your pussy is funky, people need to know these things. Don't cover it up with FDS deodorant spray and all this other stuff. Let the funk fly so that people will know who you are. So anyway, let me tell you. So we're at the baggage thing, and like I said, women were struggling with bags. There was not the chivalry. Chivalry just wasn't. It's like African women are strong or something. I don't know, because wasn't nobody trying to help them. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, okay, I see how it is, right? Step outside the airport. Step outside the airport. Oh Lord. You know what the smackdown is? Or when you get clotheslined? I went outside and that sun said, "No, the hell you don't." And I was like, oh Jesus. I said, it's hot. It just comes up and just like right in your face. And I was like, oh, I gotta step back inside. I gotta step back inside. So then I was like, okay. So I went to go step back inside, and they like, "Miss, where are you going?" And I was like, "I gotta go back inside." And they like, "Fine, put your stuff through the security again, yo." And I was like, "No, I just want to stand here." He was like, "You are not going to stand there. Put your stuff." And I was like, "Oh, he ain't playing." Like, let me just put my stuff through and just going back into the airport. And then I went back in there. I called my peoples who was picking me up. And then once I got word that my people was on their way to the front door, I jumped out of the place, right? And we started rolling. They were walking so fast, like, because I had on this heavy luggage and stuff. They were walking so fast that I had trouble keeping up with them. We had armed security that was leading the way for us. So we had a security car, like we had a police escort, right? So, because I'm going to tell you all what it is that I'm doing here in a moment. You know, once I start getting things kicked off, I'm going to let you all know what it is. Oh goodness, Chocolatey is looking this way. You know, my blinds are open. You know, so I might have to close the curtain in a moment. But there's a drop of chocolate on the balcony across from mine. I might, you know, just put down my blinds in a moment. You know, just close the drapes. So nonetheless, right? So we had a police escort escorting us off of the airport, and then they escorted us through the highway. And when I told you, you know, it was like I was trying to do some filming for you all, but I was flying around in the back seat. I was like filming. I was like, it was unbelievable. It was believable. You want to see Chocolatey? Well, you know what the thing about it is, because we're in Lagos and because I'm new here and I'm a visitor, right? I don't want to show the outside of where it is that I'm staying because I don't want my address to be identifiable. But I'll try to zoom in so that you can see Chocolatey. Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to zoom in and then I'm going to lift it up so you may be able to see Chocolatey. Let's see. There's Chocolatey over there. Okay. All right. Enough. All right. All right. So then, like I said, we had this police escort, and the police were like turning on their sirens and getting people out of their way. And so, what would have been a 3-hour drive, actually, oh, you all done made Chocolatey go back inside. All right. What would have been a 3-hour drive turned into a drive because police were like zigzagging in and out of traffic, and we were like, ah, ah! It was so crazy. It was so crazy. So nonetheless, right? Then we got something to eat, and then by that time there was like so much traffic because like Lagos for some reason has like Los Angeles traffic, right? Like traffic for no reason. And so then we got something to eat and then walked back to my Airbnb. I'll give you all a brief little view of my Airbnb, and then I'll do like a full tour in a future video. So I'll show you all real quick, right? So there's my balcony and stuff out. Let me see if I can. I have a TV. I don't know why they got pictures of some white people up on the wall, but you know, whatever it is, whatever. I have a little dining nook. I have a really huge balcony. Like I said, I don't want to show too much of the outside, but then there's the bedroom here. Look at this. Your girl got it laid out. And then I have a huge walk-in closet. A huge walk-in closet where everything is empty. That's my bag. But everything is empty. And here's the mirror. All right. And this is the bathroom. So I have a strange looking toilet. What the hell? Look at the size of these sinks. Hold on. Look, have you ever seen a sink this high before? It's up to my bosom. This is unbelievable. Oh, I have a shower. Here I have a shower with a big glass door. And it looks, I don't know. Look, this bathroom is not air conditioned. Oh, look, I guess this is hot water. But the guy didn't show me how to use that. And I guess that's a vent up there. And it looks like there's a leak. So, and it looks like I have a window with a view. Let's see what the view is like. All right, so basically, I have a view with I have another balcony. I have another balcony, so that's not bad. Someplace to go out in the morning. So, so this is $500 a week. It's not bad. I mean, it's okay, but look at the size of my refrigerator. Look at this. Oops. This is my refrigerator. It's like a hotel size refrigerator, and this water is empty. As a microwave, and there's very little like accoutrements. Like if I did an Airbnb, you know, if I did an Airbnb I would make it, you know, like dope. All right, so this is pretty much it, you know. So Kat stayed someplace that was free 99, and then she came back complaining about how she hate Nigeria. All right, well look, I don't look the you exposing you exposing you exposing you letting us know right there what it was. So you all like my hair that I came with my preacher pimp hair. So that's the full story of how I got to Lagos. And yeah, you know, I don't mind. Let me finish my stay here. I'm actually thinking about jumping around a little bit because I'm actually going to be going to Accra. If there's anybody out there who's going to Afro Nation or Afrochella, let me know, because I am going to be in Ghana. So let me know if you're going to be here for that. We're going to be traveling to a village in the east. We're going to be traveling, you know, to land of my people. And what else? That's pretty much the bulk of it. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. While I was up in the air, my period decided to come. And so I was like, I thought that the airplane altitude would make it sucker back up inside of me, but that's not how Mother Nature works. Mother Nature doesn't work like that. Mother Nature says, when I cometh, I cometh. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Oh, goodness. So right now I'm staying in a touristy area, which is supposed to be safe to walk at night. I will be in Ghana for New Year's. I'll be in Nigeria for Christmas. I'll be in Ghana for New Year's. And I have Wi-Fi that's strong enough to be able to pull this blog, so we're doing good. You know, I wear a menstrual cup, so because you know what? I remember when I was traveling through Central and South America, I forgot. You all remember when I blogged that? I forgot that I was even female, that I even got a period. Because one day I'm just like, I went to go wipe and there's blood, and I'm like, ah! I'm like, what blood? And I was like, oh, has it been 30 days already? Or 28 days, however? You know, but I have a menstrual cup, so I don't worry with pads and stuff like that. Especially, let me tell you, it was 111 degrees easy. But you know, I've been seeing 111 everywhere lately because everything is in alignment. So it was 111 degrees today easy. Like when I told you the heat was slapping me, it was like, oh no, the hell, you get back inside. It was like an angry mother. So it's hot. So it's hot here. It's hot. But when I go out in the morning, I'm gonna go for a morning walk, right? I'm for you all. You know, I'm trying different cups right now. And I've actually asked a menstrual cup company to be a sponsor for my videos. So I'm not going to promote any particular cup. If they become my sponsor, then I'll let you all know. But other than that, I'm not into this vloggers be free advertisers for people, and so that everybody is making their mark except for the bloggers. So that's that. So anyway, Kat Ingram is saying it's in the city, but poor part. Tanya looks like she's staying in VI. Listen, I'm a celebrity. I wasn't gonna come to just be any place. You know what I'm saying? Because you all remember when I went to the Dominican Republic and I was hanging out with that dude, right? And dude took me to some place with some zinc roofs, and the roof wasn't even on the building, and it was raining, and water was splashing in between the roof and the walls. And he was like, "Oh, you can leave your bags here." And I had my computer with me and stuff. And I was like, "Excuse me? You want me to leave my bag in a place where the ceiling is not even connected to the walls?" And I was like, "No." So I'm a celebrity. I'm here working as well as pleasure. And so I've got to be safe. I've got to be comfortable. I've got to have 24-hour electricity. I have to have AC. So you know what? I'll say this. My brother recently told me, if you have a problem that money can solve and you have the money, then you don't have a problem. My phone is making all this noise. Let me turn this off. Let me turn off the volume on this phone. All right, I just had to turn off the volume because it's making all this damn noise, and I don't want people thinking, "Oh, is my phone chiming?" It's just going off and off. So my brother was like, if you have a problem for which money can solve, and you have the money, then you don't have a problem. And so it's like traveling at this stage in my life after living in my car and being broke, and knowing the comforts that money can provide. I don't, I'm not going to sacrifice my comforts. So I'm not going to be out here, living la vida loca and looking crazy and making myself uncomfortable to save a few two little coins to rub together. Because at the end of the day, I'm working towards being wealthy, and being wealthy. And I need to be around where the wealth is. Look, we drove past some mansions. When I tell you there's freaking money, look, there is money in Nigeria. There is money here. And I need to be near the people who have money, people who make decisions. I need to be going grocery shopping with people who are movers and shakers. The people that you see on what's the name of this, Silverbird TV, the people who you see who got these shows, and the people who are producers, those are the people I need to be grocery shopping near. I need to be going to the parties that they're going to. I don't need to be sitting up trying to have some authentic experience in the damn hot ass heat with mosquitoes pecking at my neck and being like, "Oh, I'm having a horrible time." I don't need to be doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, so look, you know what? I'll say this. Just like I said, if you have a problem for which money can solve and you have the money, then you do not have a problem. There are people who try to make fun of me talking about, "Oh, Tanya, you living and I travel. I live how I want to live when I travel." Yes, I do. Yes, yes. I got the big king queen size bed with the headboard and sink and balconies, two balconies. I'm in the penthouse right now. I'm in the penthouse suite. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and so Ade is saying, you ain't seen money till you go out and see Lagos in its entirety. Oh, listen, I know that there's money here, because when I seen some of these mansions, is that, is that the bank? Because we drove past, I think we were in a place called Ikoyi, and we drove past, and they were like, "Oh, this is the bank owner's house." They was like, "Oh, this is the bank owner's." And I was like, this is the bank right here? And they were like, no, that's the bank owner's house. And I said, what? I said, this is his house? Oh, listen, listen. So there is money here. So it's like, you know how people will be like, oh, Nigeria's this, Nigeria's that. Listen, Nigeria is just like any other place. You know what I'm saying? One thing I can tell you right now is I ain't seen nobody sleeping on the streets. You go to the land of milk and honey, and the people who's supposed to be sipping on their milk and honey is damn sucking on it on the damn sidewalk, sleeping out in freaking 20-degree weather in New York City. I haven't seen anybody sleeping on the streets out here. I'll tell you that much. I haven't seen any stray dogs either. You know, so I'm like, okay, I can show you homeless people in America. I can show you places in America that are burnt down even to this day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut until I see some more, because I just got here. I just got here today. So listen. I saw some places that were impoverished on my way here, right? But I also, when I stayed in my Airbnb, right, I also saw, I was in a huge Airbnb. It had wall-to-wall glass from floor to ceiling that you saw the ocean and the sun rise up over the ocean. That's where I was staying when I was in Mexico. Down beneath me was a little house. And this was the time that Trump was talking about, oh, how Mexicans are robbers and they send neighbors and rapists and all this other stuff. They send neighbors and rapists and all this other stuff. All right, so see me. Give me one if you can see me, if you can see that I'm back. So I'll wait for those ones to come up, right? Still waiting. Just let me know. So Farah is still talking. Okay, so Kat can see me. I'm back. Okay. So I'll say this, right? When I saw that little house that was beneath us, and that was the time that Trump was talking about how they send their killers and their rapists and stuff over there from Mexico. Now remember, I was in Mexico when he said that, and Mexican people were so hurt. Like, this guy, he represents America with his damn nonsense. But nonetheless, I was looking down at that little house. Little tiny house. I'm telling you, this house was not as big as the apartment that I lived in when I lived in Harlem. The whole entire house was not. But when the football game came around, they had a couch. They took a sofa out of the house, right? And they put the sofa outside and they brought the TV outside. And they had family come all around. And the mother was over there making her fresh tortillas outside on this thing. Like, they make tortillas out of corn. And you have to flip it and pat it down on either side. And when I tell you that there were children, their favorite player, and they were playing football amongst themselves out there, and the family was drinking and eating Mexican food together, and they were shouting out in revelry at the score, that there's different types of wealth. No, they may not have the money to be able to afford mansions and Lexuses and Gucci purses, but they had wealth of communion, wealth of family, wealth of these experiences of being really close with one another. You know what I'm saying? It's like these people who are over here judging them, their mother effing parents are freaking sleeping in old folks' homes with nobody going to visit them. That's where their parents are. I saw inside of a little house multi-generations of people where the abuelita is taking care of the little children, and the parents go out and they work, and abuela and abuelo are there, and they got the uncles and they got people around, and they have family, they have camaraderie, they have love. So it's like, while you're over there judging people by your standards, living in your westernized way, and you're separate, with this whole nuclear family thing. You're living in the city, your family is someplace out in Iowa, and you ain't seen them. You don't go back home for Christmas because you think they country bumpkins and poor white trash and all this other stuff, right? And you're not even close to your parents. You're over here calling other people poor. But what's poor? Well, it's like if you have a roof over your head, love you need besides that. What more did we were poor until we started comparing ourselves to stories? I'm serious. How many of us grew up in an more people in the household where where you had so many people in your household, if you put food in your refrigerator, if you didn't eat the food before it went in there, it may have been in there when you come back. Where people would eat your food, people would wear your clothes, people would borrow your things, and you used to be so angry about it. You'd be like, oh, I can't wait till I grow up and this, that, and the other. Where you had to wear other people's hand-me-downs. But when you look back on it, you realize you had family and you had love and you had communion. You had people around you who cared about you. You had instantaneous. How many of us had cousins that were our instantaneous best friends? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Some of you understand what it is that I'm saying. So it's like, so out here, right? I've seen some impoverished homes. Yes. I've seen some impoverished homes. I've seen some zinc roofs. I've seen a whole bunch of, and I've seen smog, and I've seen that type of stuff. But I've also seen rich, red clay of the earth that reminds me that we are on the wealthiest continent on the face of the earth, and that the wealth is so abundant that we don't even realize it. We don't realize the wealth that exists here. Like these people who are telling you, oh, don't come to Africa, don't come to Africa. Their white asses are coming here and their white asses are making money here. There's money in Nigeria. There's money here. And while the people are telling you to stay your black ass at home, they got two different things. They're like, go back to Africa. And they're like, no, don't go to Africa. They're trying to scare you. There's money here. There's opportunity here. One of the things that I learned today, and that I've learned from since the few days it's been since I've been out of the United States, and you know, the purpose of traveling is to learn and get to know yourself, right? The sun is going down and we have a vanilla sky tonight under this African moon is coming up. So listen. So let me say this. Let me say this, right? I learned this today. Because there's this film out, right? And the film is playing on the airplane. And it's a film about a little boy who saved some damn pelicans, right? And the pelicans love him and he loves the pelicans and he raises the pelicans and the pelicans go on to save his father's life and all this other stuff. Little white boy. And one of the things that I learned and realized since I've started taking this trip, because on the plane that I took, which was not it wasn't an American Airlines, right? It was a foreign airline. On this foreign airline, you know how when you go through the movie choices, they had movie choices from Sweden, movie choices from India, movie choices from China. They didn't have any African movie choices that I saw or knew of, but they must have, because they had Arabic, they had movies in Arabic, they had movies in different languages. And one of the things that I realized is that we are being programmed to see the white man as the savior, as the person who is so sophisticated. The white man is the culturer, the sophisticated person, the one who is so gregarious, the one who is so all-giving, right? And they had this little image. It's like when you look at the programming that starts, they start programming you to see, like Hollywood programs you to see white men as saviors, white women as delicate, white children as pure and clean. And then our dumb asses, we make films. And you know what? I remember I was a teenager when I had just grown fucking, excuse my language, tired of it. First of all, I hated Good Times because I was like, why these people can't catch a damn break? I hated Good Times, and it was like I just kept getting assaulted over and over and over again by media. And then there was this show that came out called South Central, and it was more of the effing same. I was a teenager when that came out. I don't know if you all remember that, right? And when I saw that, I was like, why do we always have to be struggling, impoverished, and trying to get out of the damn ghetto? Why can't we just be human beings? Why can't we just be human beings? It was a movie that I saw. What was it? What was this movie? Okay, it's on Netflix. It's a series called End of the Effing World, right? And they had an African actress who played a police officer who was trying to catch these kids, right? And what I enjoyed about the writing of that, I'll answer that in a second, Cherie. What I enjoyed about the writing of that is that the police officer's part was not stereotypically Negro. Like, we have become so accustomed to a particular person fitting in a particular role because of their damn blackness. Why can't a person just be a human being who happens to be Negro? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we make stories like that? Why can't there be a story of a little black boy who finds a damn bird? Just random things. And I'm telling you, there's opportunity here in Nigeria to be seen as a human being instead of as a Negro or a nigger or a nigger. There's opportunity for you to just be a human being and take up your space in this place. So did I see the Cosby Show? I did. And I actually ended up going to an HBCU because of A Different World. So I know the power of media impact because I chose my college based on A Different World. You know what I'm saying? And so I know. And all I'm saying is, in America, while they trying to get you to be a nigga on the screen, they're like, oh, you gotta be blacker, you gotta be blacker, more black. While they trying to get you to be a nigger on the screen, here in Nigeria, there's opportunity for you to just be a person. It's like when you control the image of your people in the media, you control the world's perception of it. And personally, I believe that we are on the ground floor of something huge by coming and developing and exploring in Africa. So listen, we'll talk more about it. The sun is going down. I'm going to close these blinds. Hey, Dipped, people were asking about you. Where was you at? All right, I just closed my blinds. Not my blinds, my drapes. Let me make sure I got my drapes closed properly. Because, old Chocolatey across the way, we don't need him to get no shows too soon. All right, so we finished up our story time for today. Dip, you came in on the tail end of what we were talking about. But we were talking about poverty, we were talking about wealth, we're talking about Nigeria and opportunity, and how many of us have been lied to. Are there issues in Nigeria? Yes. But damn it, there's issues in America. We getting shot down out there. You know what I'm saying? We getting shot down out there. We getting disrespected. We don't have an equal justice system. And it's like we're living in a land with people who are pretending like they don't have privilege. And they don't want to acknowledge that they have privilege, and they don't want to use their privilege to lessen their privilege to be able to give you some of it. Because to the privileged, equality can seem like a loss. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if there's any other questions before I jump out of here, yes, I am staying here. Well, I'm not staying here forever, but this is the place that I'm staying. And the place that I'm staying at is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. For those of you who are just coming in, I'm going to show you where it is that the Queen is laying her head tonight. Look, this is where the Queen is laying her head. So if people are going to try to be like, oh, Nigeria, this, that, and the other, this is where I'm at. Lights 24/7, and if there's an electricity problem on the grid, there's generators here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm living, I'm enjoying how it is that I'm living, you know? So it's like people could say what it is that they want, or you could talk about Tonya and my tiny home living if you want to. But when Tonya travels, oh, Tonya lives in the lap of luxury. I'm in the penthouse suite. I have the whole place to myself. This is how I'm living. So I'm excited about this. And it's like and the thing about it is, listen, I don't have I look, I love for people to be able to invest. I love for people to be able to spend their money and invest in themselves. I love for people to make themselves comfortable. But far too many of us are throwing our money away on landlords who are able to go on vacations like this. So we're working 40 hours a week, spending time away from our children, away from our partners and loved ones, spending time away from ourselves. Some of us can't even get in optimal health because we're spending so much time making money to be able to go give to the landlord, to be able to give to the bank for your car note and all these and your student loans. And then when all is said and done, what do you have left for yourself? I live off of the grid. I keep most of my money so that when I want to travel, I can travel and live like this with a breakfast nook and two balconies in a penthouse suite in Lagos so that I could live like this. Yes. Yes. So I'm living my dream right now. Look, and my menstrual cup is telling me it's time to get the hell off of this broadcast right now because I got some things that I need to tend to. So let me start making my way towards the bathroom right now. I will see you all in the next video. All right, I'll read your comments later because it is time to go.